Hey YouTube, it's PJ, and it's time for another video. This video is the second part of my internship reflection series. So it is my time in Charlotte. So from the point, let's give you guys a timeline here. Charlotte was from, like I said, the Thursday we finished family retreat with the Knoxville office. I left straight from Fort Bluff in Dayton, Tennessee, and drove probably about 6 hours with stops to Charlotte. So I was in Charlotte by Thursday night, ready to work the following day. But I want to clear up a couple things really quick before I get into the meat of the video. One is really cool. It's something I've never done before. We are live streaming on Facebook tonight as well, giving all my Facebook friends behind the scenes look of how I do my videos. So if you're on Facebook watching the live stream at any point, but especially I already went through all that with you guys, but if you were watching the live stream when I was recording the video, by the end of the night you can go to YouTube and actually watch the video and comment that you were watching the live stream while I was recording the video, and I will let's see, I'm not like these big famous YouTubers that can do giveaways, but I will at least reply to your comment and say thank you. How about that? So if you haven't, and you're watching on Facebook and you haven't checked out my YouTube channel, it's PJ Crouch YouTube, just my name with the with YouTube at the end of it, and go hit the like and subscribe button, and watch out for more new videos, and then like this video and comment that you were on the live stream. So the second piece of information I want to clear up, put the phone down for a second while I clear or zip up my jacket here, because the jacket is actually a very important part of the video tonight, because if anybody remembers, and I'm going to flip my live stream screen back over so they can see me a little bit better for this next piece of information. If anybody remembers the setup video for this series a long time ago, which I'm sorry it's taking so long, I'll get into that maybe not this video, but definitely in the next video, because I am going to do a general Q&A for the whole internship process, Knoxville, Charlotte, the lead up, the ending, so where I'm at now, as far as my ministry journey, I am going to do that. That will be the next straight video I do. So if you have questions, leave them in the comment section of the video on YouTube. or in the discussion section of my YouTube page. Um, you can also leave them there, and I'll check them and get them and answer them in the Q&A. But if you remember the setup, I said I'd wear my t-shirts from each stop on in that specific video, and I did that for the Knoxville video. But my Charlotte t-shirt is currently MIA somewhere in my house. I'm pretty sure it's still in the laundry room. So instead of breaking my promise and not wearing anything Johnny and Friends related for these videos, I picked up my trusty black Johnny and Friends hoodie, and the logo's above my heart, which is where Johnny and Friends is anyway, because God has led me to. I've wavered on what I wanted to do in life so many times, from the point I said I wanted to work for JAF when I was 7 to now, and God has always pulled me back and set me on this set me on the path I'm on now. So, but this jacket or hoodie, whatever you want to call it, has very special significance to my time in Charlotte, and I'll hit that really fast before I get into the meat of the video. When I left, so mid-July, I was packing to leave, like the day after 4th of July. I left here on July 8th, which was a Sunday, to go to Knoxville, because I had to start work the 9th. So I started packing, and it's pretty hot. It's like 80, 90 degrees every day here. So I decide that I'm not going to take a jacket because it'll take up way too much space in my suitcase, because I had a limited amount of space that I needed to get enough nice clothes and enough gym type clothes to wear at camp in my suitcase. So I decided, much to both sets of grandmothers' chagrins, that I was not going to take a jacket. And I didn't need one in Knoxville at all, or at camp with Knoxville at all. It was hot, it was sunny, it was sticky, but I get to, and my first week with Charlotte was fine. My week in Charlotte was just as hot, just as sticky, just as sunny. But then we drive about an hour to 2 hours away from Charlotte to Flat Rock, and which is where the conference center they hold camp is located at, and it's in the foothills, so not quite the mountains, but you're getting close. And everybody had pretty much done the exact same thing that I did. They didn't pack a jacket because it took too much space in their suitcase. And if anybody's ever done family retreat or done anything with JAF, you know you need every inch, every centimeter of space you can get. So we get there where the prep team, which I was on because I had no choice. Everybody I could have rode with was already there. So those of us who are on prep team are setting up, we're decorating, we've had our final prep meeting. The volunteers, 95% of the volunteers are getting there the next morning. So this was Saturday night, and sitting there checking the weather for 1 week, or in some of our cases like mine, 2 weeks, because we were there both weeks. And we were checking the weather, and it said early mornings, high 40s, low 50s. And we're like, okay, we don't have jackets. Luckily, Johnny and friends decided to create sweatshirts and hoodies to sell at merchandise tables at family retreats and at different events this year. So we had like 6 boxes of just sweatshirts, if I remember correctly. So a bunch of us run over to those boxes and pay the $40. This one was $40. And let me tell you, it's been worth every dollar of that $40 that I spent, because it's warm. It doesn't get too clunky when it's wet. And it's been a nice conversation starter because I wear it at home and people ask me about it. But yeah, so this has just as much connection to the Charlotte office to me than the missing t-shirt that I had planned to wear for this video. So, okay. Let's get into the meat of the video. Everybody going good? Facebook looks like it. So, what's the point of this video? The point of this video is to reflect on my time in Charlotte. Just as much for me to reflect and voice it to myself as it is to give information to you guys and or future Cause for Life interns that may be thinking, praying about entering the program. Because I'll tell you guys what I told everybody in the live stream, and I'm going to get real for the whole video is real, but I'm gonna get really real here for just a second. I know I promised you guys this set of videos when I got back, like right after I got back. I got on and said, hey, these are coming in short order. Well, short order's the last week of December. I got the first one out right before Christmas. So, and that's on me. Yeah, my family had some stuff where I had to put my stuff on the back burner for just a little bit. But mostly, it was me just dragging my feet. And I wasn't dragging my feet because I didn't want to do it. But these videos signify a closing of that chapter, and at least the summer part of that chapter. My JAF experience is not anywhere close to being over or done or anything like that, but for a while when I got back, it felt like If I said it's over, it's gonna be over. So I didn't. I didn't record videos about it. I didn't talk about it. People asked me to talk about it, and I said sure. But then those people never got back to me, and part of me was like, okay, yes, I don't have to talk about it, because if I talk about it, that means it's over. And over the last couple weeks, I've realized that that's not it at all. That just means, like I said, it's closure, but it's not done. It's just like everybody says see you later instead of goodbye. These videos are see you later, not goodbye. But when I got back, I told my mom yesterday, because we were talking about something that led to something else, that led to the topic of my internship and stuff like that. And she's like, since you got back, you've been kind of lazy and kind of off your game. And I said, I know. And I couldn't figure out why until yesterday, to be honest. I'm like, when I was there, and there doesn't mean Charlotte, there doesn't mean Knoxville, there just means doing my internship, doing what I've wanted to do for so long. And I've felt this way anytime I've done anything with JAF, all the way back to doing my first 2 years of volunteering at family retreat with the Jackson, Mississippi office. Wherever JAF is and wherever they send me or wherever they let me be is where I want to be. So when I got home, part of me didn't come home. As tired and as happy as I was to be back with my family, I wasn't happy to be home or be with my family at the same time, because I have an even bigger family now. You guys have heard me say, whether it's on Facebook or on YouTube, you guys have heard me say that as a military kid, I have a big family, because I have family all over the world, because I have friends all over the world. And being a military kid, there's a 99% chance when somebody leaves or you leave, you're gonna leave feeling like family. And Johnny and Friends is no different, because the week of family retreat, everybody sees your heart, everybody sees your raw emotions. Let's use a movie term, since we're YouTubing this. Everybody sees the raw footage. You put your guard down because everybody's the same. And if not everybody's the same, that doesn't matter, because the people who aren't don't care. They're there to make sure that you have the best week of your life, to make sure that you're normal for at least a little while, because they know when you go home, whether you have a disability or whether you're the caregiver for somebody, for that somebody, they know that your life can get pretty messed up, just because life and God throws curveballs into that life. So, when I got back, I was in a funk. I was depressed. I'm still sort of depressed, but I'm getting better because I'm getting opportunities to serve um, here in here at home specifically, and with JAF. Um, More about those later. But when I got home, part of me, part of me didn't come home, and I'll get into why a little bit in this video. But let's get started. Because this video is already going to be extremely long, and for that I will straight up apologize. Because I come into each one of these videos trying to make short videos, and it just doesn't work, but that's okay. So, when I got to Charlotte, it was Thursday night. And like I mentioned in my Knoxville video, the director for the Charlotte office was also the director for the Knoxville office. So he was at family retreat for Knoxville, and he looks at me and goes, "You're coming to work Friday, right?" And I automatically, knee jerk, not even think about it, go, "If you want me to." And then afterwards, I'm like, okay, what did he say? I'm going to work Friday after working family retreat the previous 4 days. But I went, I drank a lot of coffee that day. To be honest, the week in the office, I drank a lot of coffee. But the week, let me back up. If you watched any of my previous videos, whether it be my Knoxville video, I mentioned some of this, whether it be the mentor video I did on a whim a couple weeks ago, or whether it be my leadership final for class a couple weeks ago at the end of the semester, I mentioned on several occasions that I felt like I wasn't used the way I thought I was going to be used in Charlotte compared to how I was used in Knoxville. And to be honest, that hurt a little bit because I'm there to work. I'm there to put everything I have into whatever they give me, and the person I was directly working under when I got to the office just wanted me to answer the phones. I was one of 3 interns in the Charlotte office, and that's pretty much what we all got relegated to that final week. Just because the person we were told to directly work under was a little bit, she had to have her hand on everything just because that's her type of personality. She likes to make sure things get done, which I learned throughout that week, and that's fine. If you want to have tight reins on everything, that's your choice. But I was honestly hurt a little bit because I was there to help them, and I don't feel like I got to help as much as I probably could have. And there again is a point of contention with my mom, and she's like, why didn't you step up? Why didn't you push the issue? Well, part of me wanted to, and earlier in the week I did push it, but I finally realized, hey, you can't push it because you're not going to get anywhere. Because that's not how she wants to use you. So you just have to say, okay, and if she gives you something great, if she says go answer the phones or just sit here and talk to me, you do that. Because that's how she wants to use you. And I didn't push it as hard as I probably could have because I didn't want to hurt myself for future, for the, how am I trying to word this? I didn't want to burn any bridges that I could possibly use in the future. So, she told me to answer the phones. I answered the phones. She told me to sit in her office and talk to her and just give her background noise. That's what I did. And then, when I did my wrap-up phone call with California, I told California what went on, and the person I talked to apologized. She's like, that's not how we wanted to use you because we hear what you did in Knoxville and they gave you a bunch of stuff and you ran with it. You didn't get that chance in Charlotte, and we're sorry because that's what we know that's what you wanted to do. But I also told California that I learned a lot in Charlotte, regardless of whether I got to actually do what I learned how to do, if that makes any kind of sense. And so the week in the office was a little boring, but then we got to family retreat and it all kicked up after that. But before I get to family retreat, I want to talk about something that I really didn't get to experience in Knoxville as much because I was only there for a week. Now I have certain people that this aspect is really strong with in Knoxville, and as I continue to work with other people in Knoxville, that aspect will get stronger and stronger. But in Charlotte, since I was there with them, not only a week in the office, but 2 weeks at family retreat, I got to spend time with people and build more in-depth relationships. Just because of the amount of time I was there, because I was in the office from the Friday I got to Charlotte till the Friday we left, and then we left for family retreat on Saturday morning, and we all met at Cracker Barrel for breakfast. One final, okay, let's sit down and breathe meal before the chaos of family retreat starts. And Jim, the director for the Charlotte and Knoxville offices, who's no longer the director, so that that stinks because for me and for everybody he worked with, but he moved on to other ministry opportunities, um, which is great for him. He's got a better schedule, it sounds like, so he can be with his family. So that's a win-win for him. But it kind of stinks for me. I'm happy for him, but but he will always be special to me, and I will always owe him a lot because he gave me my shot. He's the one who signed off on my paperwork. He's the one who, halfway through my prep process, said, let's bring him to Charlotte when he gets done in Knoxville. Because he said, or originally it was only supposed to be a 2-week thing, a week in the office in Knoxville and the week of family retreat, and then I was supposed to be done. About halfway through the planning process, I get a phone call going, plan to go to Charlotte for 3 weeks after you get done here. A week in the office and both weeks of family retreat with the Charlotte office in Flat Rock. So he's the one who signed the paperwork. He's the one who gave me the opportunity, or Jen gave me the opportunity to train at Induc in Knoxville, but he's the one who went to her and said, tell him I want him to do this when he gets to Charlotte. So I got to do that for 2 weeks. So that is always a special relationship I will have. I will have a special relationship with Joyce Simeote, who's one of the church relations managers for Charlotte. She's basically the mom for the interns, guys and girls. The girls stayed with her, but she always, I'd get to the office, and she'd get to the office and she'd go, did you eat? Did you sleep? Do you have everything you need? So she's basically, one of the interns I worked with is from England. She comes over pretty much every summer to volunteer with the Charlotte office, and Joyce has become her American mom. I'm gonna take it a step further and say Joyce is the intern mom, just because she makes sure we're all squared away. Not saying everybody else in the office doesn't do that, because they do, but Joyce kind of takes it on herself to make sure that we eat, we sleep, we shower, we we do all that stuff. And everybody, Joyce and Jeff and Becky, so Jeff is the other church relations manager in the Charlotte office, and he was basically my ride from Knoxville to Charlotte, and he made sure I was set up in the hotel. He got me to family retreat. So Jeff, I owe a lot to as well. But Jeff, Joyce, and Becky all took, who's the admin assistant in the office, all took me out to dinner one night each. So my second night, my second full, no. So that Friday night, I hung out on my own. That Saturday night, my grandparents came and got me, and that Sunday night, I hung out on my own and just ate at the hotel. But my full week in the office, I had meals every night. So my first night, Becky and her mom and brother and niece took me out to dinner. We had the old homeschool Christian standby Chick-fil-A, which is always good. And then the next night, what did I do the next night? No. The next night, I went out to dinner. Not all of us, but most of us from the office, and their families went out to eat Mexican. And then Joyce and her husband helped me out with that. The following night, I actually had dinner with one of my roommates from Family Retreat, with the Knoxville office. His family actually lives in Charlotte, 5 minutes from where I was staying. So his mom and dad came and picked me up from my hotel and did laundry for me. And again, I had Mexican. So that's actually funny because that day at work, one of the local churches brought us they had Moe's catered for us because they just wanted to love on us. And so I had Mexican for 3 straight meals, which was kind of funny. And then the night after that, Jeff and I went somewhere to help serve. And he took me to Chick-fil-A. So the relationships are stronger just because of the amount of time I spent with them. And eventually, you guys, well, you'll see it at the beginning of the video. You guys will see the thumbnail of me and a group of friends. Where in Knoxville, I had the Brotherhood of Cabin number 5. At Family Retreat for Charlotte, I had the squad. It was me, the 2 other interns, a couple really good friends of the interns. Because even though they haven't been interns the entire time, Hannah and Amanda, the other 2 interns, have been volunteering with JAF Charlotte for a really long time. And they all kind of enveloped and brought me into the group, which was really special. We've been texting and messaging back and forth all this week, wishing each other Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that stuff. And so that's gonna be the thumbnail for this video. Is my time with them, because my time with them is one of the brightest parts of the internship. So, and like I said, even though I wasn't necessarily used in the way I thought I could be best used, I was still used. Like, first week, I got to help lead the group that was the college age kids, which was really awesome. I was able to pour into my own age group and again build relationships that may not be as strong as my relationships with some of the other volunteers and the office staff, but they're still there. One of them is really strong because, come to find out, I used to play wheelchair basketball against somebody that I helped mentor and helped lead through the week. So that was cool because about midweek, her and I start talking and realizing we both played and played at the same time, and almost about the same time we both realized it and went, oh no, it's you. Because she was really good on offense for her team, and I was really good on defense for my team. So we had a few scraps, as they say back in the day. So that was fun to relive. The only bad thing was there wasn't a decent basketball court to see how we matched up against each other now. And we weren't in basketball chairs either, so that would have been really bad. And we tried to do that. Second week of family retreat, I again brushed up against the wall of not feeling used to my full potential. But again, I got to do something. I got to see a part of the ministry that I'd never seen before, which was these things right here. This is one of the ones I got. These things are called happy grams. And they're basically little notes that the families can send to each other, that the volunteers can send to each other, that the volunteers can send to their families, meaning the families they're assigned to throughout the week. And they can fill these out, and at the end of every day, sometimes multiple times a day, there's a crew that will go hang them on the door. So the next time that person goes to their door or opens their door, they'll see a new happy gram. So second week of family retreat, I wasn't assigned to anybody. I wasn't leading a small group like I had done the previous week. I was assigned to admin detail. So that wasn't necessarily what I wanted to do, but it was where God apparently wanted me. Because part of my job was making sure that these things got hung up. Let's just say the saying midnight oil has whole new meanings when you're on happy gram detail. Because families go up at 8 to their rooms about 8:30, 9 o'clock. Volunteers don't have to be in their rooms till 10:30, 11 o'clock. So they would go down to our little coffee shop area that we had set up and write bukus and bukus of happy grams. And me and one of the other guys in the thumbnail, Andrew, which there's another funny story that I'll tell in just a second about that. Him and I and one other married couple, would go hang those up every day, sometimes multiple times a day. But the night runs were always the hardest because we all were exhausted. and we all knew we had another crazy day that we had to get ready for. But I got to see the smiles on families' faces when they read the happy grams. I got to see how much we as volunteers mean to those families on a whole nother level that I'd never experienced before. And again, had I pushed the envelope and said, give me something different, I wouldn't have gotten to experience that. Because I had already made plans with one of the other groups to help with them when I could. And then the overall retreat lead shot that down. And again, I was frustrated, but by the end of the week, I realized, hey, I got to experience something that I never would have gotten to experience had I pushed the envelope. So, yeah, looking back, I'm a little frustrated, but I'm not as frustrated as I was during the whole thing or right after I got back and did my wrap up interview with the headquarters in California, because I've gotten 6 months, or not 6 months, but let's see, August, September, October, November. I've gotten 4 months to really sit back and think and really realize, hey, yeah, you were all gung ho to go in and serve and pour into families, and then you got told, hey, take a step back. But in taking that step back and delivering little pieces of paper with messages on them, you made a family's entire week. Because by the end of that week, our goal, we told everybody, was everybody has to go home with at least one happy gram. We exceeded that. We hung up thousands. So, literally, right now, across the southeast, there are literally thousands of these pieces of paper, usually with blue painter's tape stuck on the back, that each family can look at and say, hey, I remember what this note is talking about. We did that day, or we rode horses that day, or rode motorcycles, or did the zip line at 700 feet straight down. So looking back, I'm not as frustrated as I was, because like I've said over and over, I'll say it again, had I pushed the envelope and said, give me something different, had I clenched my fist and said, no, I'm not gonna sit behind an admin desk all day, I wouldn't have gotten to do that and build a relationship that has become really special to me, and that's my relationship with Andrew. Andrew's and my relationship is a little different, and it's different because of one simple fact. That simple fact is, I knew about Andrew before I got to camp, because his younger sister and his older sister, his younger sister, and his older brother had all volunteered at Knoxville Family Retreat. So I got to know them. Andrew was supposed to come help at Knoxville Family Retreat, but one, something came up where he couldn't, and two, first week he was there, he got to, at Charlotte Family Retreat, he got to work with a really special buddy of his that he'd had like for 3 straight years. So that relationship was strong, and then he felt God pulling him to come back for the second week. And they had all the families matched to volunteers already, so they floated him around, and at night or whenever he wasn't doing anything, he'd help me put happy girls up. So I got to know him a little bit or a lot more than what his siblings had already told me. So I got to work with an entire family at various points throughout my summer. And those are probably some of the strongest relationships I have coming out of this. So again, had I pushed the envelope, I wouldn't have that complete relationship with that family where I can go to either one of those siblings and say, hey, you remember working with this person? Or you remember what happened with that or this? So I guess the entire thing about what God taught me in Charlotte was patience, which is not one of my strong suits, and that relationships sometimes matter more than how you serve. It's who you serve with. Because had I been running around that second week, some of the relationships that came out of that second week, or even the first week of family retreat, or in the office, would not be as strong as they are. So that's basically my reflection on Charlotte, and it's taken me a long time to get some of this stuff in my head sorted out, because I did not want to come into this video and badmouth Charlotte, because my experience in Charlotte was great. It was just great in other ways. And I try to explain it once I figure some of this stuff out. I try to explain it to others, but unless they were there, they're not gonna get it, because they heard and saw my frustration and hear me recount how bad I wanted to serve in other areas or do more in the office like I did in Knoxville. But over the last, really the last 2 or 3 weeks, it's been, wow, I'm trying to gather my thoughts to get this video out over Christmas break, and God's been working and saying, hey, remember that if you didn't do this, you wouldn't have gotten to do that. So, and one of the best things that I can grab onto that second week, as far as other things that I wouldn't have gotten to do, is the campsite where we were at had a 700-foot zip line. And anybody who knows me on Facebook or met me this summer knows that I'm an adrenaline junkie. And I wanted to do that zip line so bad. But normally, if your staff, meaning a camp volunteer, because you're considered staff while you're there, you're not supposed to do the zip line unless you have a buddy that's wanting to do it, and then you can do it with them. Well, second week, they didn't fill all the zipline slots. So one day I'm sitting at the admin desk, kind of hoping to get more happy grams to go deliver because I'm sitting there, just staring at a wall. And my section leader, Becky, actually comes up to me and says, "Be at the zip line at 2:30." I knew what that meant. She didn't have to tell me why, but that meant I got one of the last slots on the zip line for that day. And had I been tied to, or not tied, but had I had a buddy that week, I probably wouldn't have gotten to do it because it was in the time frame that we were supposed to do what your buddy wanted to do. So if my buddy didn't want to do the zip line that day, I wouldn't have been able to do the zip line that day. So that, as far as grabbing onto something, a memory that everybody will understand, that's what God has been harping on the last couple weeks with me while I've been trying to wrap my head around, okay, how am I going to do this video nicely? But then he's like, hey, you got to do some stuff you wouldn't have gotten to do had you not said, okay, I'll do what I need to do. Because originally when I was pushing the envelope, I said all I want to do is help. So if that means going to another group for a couple hours, all I want to do while I'm here is help and learn. So next year, whatever the opportunity is, wherever I'm at, I have things that I know how to do already going in. And the lead looks at me and goes, I don't need you to do that. And part of me said, okay. In my head, part of me said, you don't trust me enough to go off and do what I want to help with over here. But then, getting out of my funk and realizing that, hey, part of me is still there because I don't want to be in Chattanooga. I want to be out in the trenches serving somewhere different. I don't want to be around extended family for the rest of my life. I had to realize that and realize why I was so depressed before I could realize all this other stuff. So if you're a future Cost for Life participant, let me tell you, you are going to be so on fire when you get back home that when the opportunities you want don't come knocking, right after you get home, you're gonna ask God, you're gonna look up to the sky and ask God, why in the world is this not happening? Why in the world did I have to come back here? I was so on fire back here, but up here, I'm not. That's going to happen. But admit to yourself that you want to be back there, and up here will get better. I've realized that over the last week, over the last 2 days, I've realized that. Because I verbally admitted it to my mom. I'm like, I do not want to be here. I was literally crying when I said that. I'm like, I don't want to be here. I want to be there. And she's like, I know, but right now, you're here. So, yeah, biggest thing I learned from Charlotte. patience, and you never know what's gonna happen behind the door. So don't try to force it open, just let it open. So I will talk to you guys later. Facebook live stream, say goodbye, flip you around. Um, Why? Oh, that's because I'm hitting the wrong button. Say goodbye to the YouTube video, and if you watched it, if you were on the live stream, go to PJ Crouch YouTube and comment on the video and say I was on the live stream, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. So I will see YouTube tomorrow for Fireside Friday episode 5, the last one of 2017. So hope to see you guys there. If not, enjoy your New Year, stay safe, and I will see you guys soon.